You're listening to an audio article by the Common Constitutionalist. Today's article is entitled, Let's Protect Both the First and Second Amendments Equally. Being a member of the NRA these days may be one of the most heinous things an American can do, according to the snowflake leftists. The push from the radical left has reached a fever pitch against the Second Amendment rights organization. So much so that even roadside billboards have begun to crop up slamming the NRA. The first to be legally erected was in Pensacola, Florida. The rather large billboard reads, "The NRA is a terrorist organization." It was paid for by a Clinton hack, Claude Taylor, who now heads up the Mad Dog Anti-Trump Political Action Committee, or PAC. Taylor was a Bill Clinton White House staffer. And I wonder where he gets his funding. I don't know, but if I were a betting man, I'd wager the house on George Soros. It seems like he funds most of the radical leftist hate groups. When not waging war against the Second Amendment, Taylor's PAC concentrates on trying to impeach President Trump. So he's a multitasker. His PAC plans at least 2 more anti-NRA billboards. The other 2 are to be unveiled in Pennsylvania, the first of the 2 in Pittsburgh, and the other in a yet-to-be-determined area, also in Pennsylvania. On February 19th, another billboard was seen along Interstate 65 near Louisville, Kentucky. However, this billboard was not contracted. It was vandalized by a group known as Resist 45, which stands for Resist Donald Trump, the 45th President. Somehow the group was able to climb up and paint "Kill the NRA" in the dead of night so it could be viewed the following morning. David Watkins, a spokesman for Outfront Media, which owns the billboard, told the Louisville Courier-News that the vandalism was immediately removed. After some backlash, some jerkwad from Resist 45 felt it necessary to explain that they didn't want to actually kill anyone. He writes, quote, "The billboard reads that 'kill the NRA' doesn't infer to kill people. If you believe that, you're just ignorant. The simple message is, quote, 'kill the influence that the NRA has on our politicians,' unquote." Oh, well then that's okay, even with the insult. Yet the NRA is not a pro-gun organization. Rather, it is a pro-Second Amendment group. It was formed to protect the Second Amendment from those who would want to usurp or abolish it. If this is the case, and it is, shouldn't the NRA be given the same respect as organizations that are formed to protect our other God-given rights? There are many liberal organizations who claim to stand against anyone who dares to infringe on the First Amendment, particularly our rights of freedom of speech and of the press. That is, unless they deem it hate speech, then it's okay to infringe. According to the Columbia Journalism Review, the work that the First Amendment groups do, quote, "is increasingly important because of the threats posed by Trump's rhetoric and the economic challenges the news industry is facing, especially at the local level," unquote. Groups like the Committee for Freedom of the Press, the Committee to Protect Journalists, the Freedom of the Press Foundation, and the ACLU. Now imagine if some pro-Trump group fashioned a billboard that stated, "Kill the Freedom of the Press Foundation." It would make no difference if someone were to explain that they merely meant to kill the influence that the Freedom of the Press Foundation has on our politicians. It's doubtful that that explanation would even be reported on. The ACLU claims to be the protectors of free speech. How well would a billboard fare that read, quote, "The ACLU is a terrorist organization," unquote? It would be the lead story on every liberal cable news outlet and every leftist website. Despite being supposed champions of free speech, they would demand that the perpetrators be brought to justice. We must remember that without the Second Amendment, the First would erode rather quickly. Thank you for listening.